In the year 3427, the galaxy was full of life. Thousands of alien species lived under the rule of the Galactic Council. The Council made laws to keep peace between planets. One day, they made a new law. It was short, but powerful. Humans are banned from war. No one was allowed to ask them for help. No one was allowed to let them fight. At first, every species agreed. They thought this was the right choice. But deep inside, they were also afraid. They remembered the old wars where humans fought and no one could stop them. Humans had joined the galactic community only a few hundred years ago. At first, other species thought they were weak. Humans were small compared to many aliens. They lived short lives. They had no natural weapons, no hard skin, no fire-breathing mouths. But soon the truth came out. Humans were not strong like beasts. They were smart, fast, and dangerous. They learned every enemy's weakness. They made weapons no one had seen before. They planned battles like puzzles and always found a way to win. In every war, humans turned the tide. They helped small planets defeat giant empires. They fought side by side with other species and they always brought victory. But there was a price. Humans never stopped. Once the war started, they gave everything. They would destroy planets, wipe out cities, and use tricks no other species dared to try. They said, if we fight to win. Nothing else matters. That scared everyone. One war changed everything. It was called the Crimson War. A powerful species called the Zarn took over 5 star systems. The Galactic Council could not stop them, so they called the humans. Earth sent just 3 warships and a small group of soldiers. In 2 weeks, the Zarn were gone, not defeated, erased. No one ever found their homeworld again. Some said humans used a weapon that erased memories. Others believed they used a virus that made the Zarn destroy themselves. The Council never told the truth. They only said one thing. This must never happen again. So the ban was created. Humans were told to stay out of all wars. They were allowed to live and trade, but never to fight. Some humans protested. They said, yeah, we only fight when you ask us. But the Council did not listen. The vote was final. Earth turned silent after that. No one saw human warships again. The galaxy moved on. Years passed. Other species forgot why humans were banned. They told stories to their children, but many believed those were just myths. Humans are just dramatic, some said. They were never that strong. A few even laughed at the old stories. They thought the Council had overreacted, but they didn't know the full truth. Only the Council leaders had seen what humans were really capable of. And they had locked away every file, every report, every image. Now something strange was happening. Small fights were breaking out across the galaxy again. Planets were arguing. Empires were rising. Some species remembered the days when humans brought order. They began to whisper, what if we made a mistake? But no one dared to speak it out loud. On Earth, people lived quietly. They still trained their armies. They still studied war. But they stayed away. They remembered the ban. Still they watched, and they waited. A human general once said, they may fear us now, but one day they will need us again. And when they do, the galaxy will remember why we were banned. Late at night, somewhere deep in space, a council officer stared at an old video. It showed a human soldier walking through fire alone, facing an army. He won that battle in 10 minutes. The officer watched the screen, afraid and amazed. He whispered to himself, did we do the right thing? Or did we make the biggest mistake in galactic history? No one knew what was coming, but something was moving in the dark. A storm was rising, and the galaxy would soon remember the one rule they all agreed on, and why they should have never forgotten it. Humans are banned from war, but sometimes bans are broken, and when they break, nothing can stop what comes next. At first, after the humans were banned from war, the galaxy felt calm. The Council believed peace would grow. No more human weapons, no more human soldiers. Many species were happy. They thought they were safe now. Some even celebrated. They said, "We don't need humans. We can handle our own problems." But slowly something began to change. Without humans in war, the balance of power started to shift. Some strong species began to act bold. They knew the council was soft and slow. They started small fights, disputes over borders, trade, and planets. At first, these were just arguments. But soon they turned into battles. The council tried to stop them with talks and rules. But words did not stop warships. One empire, the Dravans, took control of 3 peaceful colonies. Another species, the Talari, attacked a mining moon. The weaker species cried for help, but no one listened. Some whispered, "If the humans were here, this wouldn't be happening." The council held meetings day and night. They argued, they planned, but they had no real power. Without human strength, without human war plans, their hands were empty. One council member, a lizard-like alien from the Yarnak species, said, "We removed the sword that protected us. Now we are being cut from all sides." On Earth, humans watched the galaxy from a distance. They saw the news. They heard the whispers. They knew what was happening. But they said nothing. They remembered the ban. They remembered how the galaxy turned against them, even after humans won their wars. Some humans were angry. Others were sad. A few wanted to return and fight. But Earth's leaders said no. They made their choice. We will not beg to be needed. So Earth stayed silent. One small colony, named Valari Prime, was known for peace. They never had weapons. They believed in kindness and trade. One day, a fleet from the Kroon Empire came and took over their skies. Valari Prime sent a message to the council, "Help us, we are not fighters." The council sent a reply, "We will talk to the Kroon." But the Kroon did not want to talk. They wanted power. Within 2 days, Valari Prime's capital was burned. Millions died. The council called it a tragedy. But to the people of Valari, it was betrayal. In the middle of the flames, someone wrote 3 words on a wall before dying: "Bring back humans." The message spread like fire. People across the galaxy began asking questions. They looked back at the old stories. They searched for videos, for data, for anything about human wars. Some found old records, black and white footage of human soldiers fighting with precision, moving like machines, never giving up. Some were amazed. Some were terrified, and some wanted help. One alien captain, Theros of the Kreelan people, had seen humans fight during the Crimson War. He remembered their speed, their strange courage. He had watched a human medic save an enemy child during battle. Theros stood in the council chamber and said, "You all fear humans, but you forget. They never fought for greed. They fought to protect. And now, when we need protection, we have no one to turn to." The council grew silent. No one knew what to say. Meanwhile, deep under the surface of Earth, inside a quiet mountain, human generals were watching. One of them, General May Carter, stood in front of a large screen. She looked at the news from Valari Prime. Her eyes were cold. "They're breaking," she said. "The cracks are getting wider." An officer beside her asked, "Should we prepare?" May nodded. "Not yet, but soon. They will come. And when they do, we must decide. Do we forgive them? Or do we let them suffer the world they chose?" In another corner of the galaxy, on a dark moon far from any planet, a strange ship landed. It carried no flag. It sent no signal. But inside there was a team, 5 aliens from 5 different species. They wore black armor and quiet voices. One of them said, "We must find Earth. We must speak to the humans. The council is too slow. If we wait, the galaxy will fall," another replied. "But the ban is killing us," the first one said. "We have no choice." As they entered the old ruins on the moon, they found a hidden door. Behind it was a machine. A message was stored inside. It was from a human, long ago. The message said, "You were afraid of our fire, but fire can warm, or it can burn. When you need it again, Be sure you know which one you're asking for." The team stood in silence. The galaxy was growing weaker, and the fire was waiting to be called again. The galaxy had seen many wars. Empires had risen and fallen. Species had fought over planets, resources, and pride. But nothing had prepared them for what came next. It began at the edge of known space. A mining station on the dark side of Nabar 9 sent out a strange message. "Something is here," the message said. "We don't know what it is. It doesn't speak. It doesn't stop." Then, silence. No one took it seriously at first. They thought it was just pirates, maybe a malfunction. But then more outposts went dark. One by one, small colonies vanished. No signals, no survivors. Just blackened ruins where cities once stood. The enemy had arrived. They were called the Scourge. No one knew what they really were. Machines, monsters, or something in between. They didn't talk. They didn't ask for peace. They didn't take prisoners. They simply moved from system to system, wiping everything out. Ships, stations, cities, planets. Gone. The Galactic Council tried to respond. They sent fleets, hundreds of warships from many species. But the Scourge were different. Their ships didn't act like normal machines. They learned. They changed. Every time the Council tried a new tactic, the Scourge adapted. In every battle, they got smarter, and the Council lost more lives. Within weeks, 3 star systems fell. Panic spread. The Dravan Empire, once powerful, lost its capital. The skies, above the Dravan homeworld, burned with blue fire. Refugees poured into nearby systems. The Council held emergency meetings. But fear made them slow. Some species pulled back their fleets to protect only their own worlds. Old alliances began to break. One council member shouted, "We must unite or we will all fall." But another replied, "Unite with what? We are outmatched. We are running out of ships, and we still cannot call them." Everyone knew who them meant, the humans. For a moment there was silence in the chamber. Then someone whispered, "Maybe we should," but fear still held them back. The memory of the Crimson War was strong. The image of human ships burning enemy planets still haunted their dreams. Even now, with the Scourge destroying everything, some still believed humans were worse. Meanwhile, Earth was silent. No messages, no offers to help, no warnings. But humans were watching. Inside their war bunkers and deep space stations, they tracked the Scourge. They studied every move, every weakness, every ship pattern. General May Carter stood before her team and said, "They are fast, but not faster than us. They are smart, but not smarter. The question is, do we wait for them to ask, or do we remind them who we are?" Her officers didn't answer. They knew the rule. Earth would not move unless called. The ban was still law, but it would not be law for much longer. On the edge of the galaxy, a group of surviving captains met in secret. They came from many species. Their fleets were broken, their planets lost. They were tired of waiting. One captain said, "The Council is frozen. They fear ghosts. But we fear something real. The Scourge are coming. They will not stop. If we don't act now, there will be nothing left." Another captain stood. His name was Theros, the same Krelin officer who once fought beside humans long ago. He looked around and said, "We need the humans. It is time." And so, they made a choice. A small ship, fast and silent, left the meeting. It carried a message. It did not go to the Council. It went to Earth. The message was short. The enemy is here. We are falling. The galaxy needs fire again. Will you answer? On Earth, the signal arrived in a quiet room deep underground. General Carter read the message. Her hands did not shake. Her eyes stayed cold. She said, "Prepare the fleet." The officer beside her asked, "What if the Council protests?" She replied, "Let them." Somewhere in space, another planet fell. It was called Sarin 4, a beautiful world filled with lakes and cities. The scourge came from the sky like a wave of metal and smoke. People ran, screamed, begged for help. But no one came. Just before the final city fell, a child sent out a message. It traveled through dust and stars. A simple cry. Please, somebody help us. And far away, that message reached a human satellite. The computer woke up. A red light turned on. And somewhere a human pilot opened his eyes. It had begun. The enemy had arrived. But so had the answer. The galaxy did not know it yet, but the fire they once feared was returning. And this time, it would burn for all the right reasons, or all the wrong ones. The message had been sent. A small team of captains, tired of waiting for the council, asked the one power they had all feared, the humans. For many years, Earth stayed silent, respecting the ban. But now the galaxy was dying. Whole star systems were gone. The scourge was moving faster than anyone believed. The question was, would Earth answer? In the darkness of deep space, a small ship moved toward Earth. It carried 5 aliens from different species. They were not official council members. They acted on their own, breaking the law. But they didn't care anymore. The ban meant nothing if there was no galaxy left to protect. Inside the ship, the mood was heavy. Captain Theros sat at the front. He had fought beside humans long ago. He remembered their fire, their focus. He whispered, "They will listen. They must." The others were less sure. One of them, a Talari named Sorna, asked, "What if they're still angry? What if they remember how we turned our backs on them?" Theros replied, "They will remember everything. That's what scares me most." As they approached the Sol system, alarms rang inside their ship. A voice came through the speakers, calm, cold. "Unregistered vessel, you are entering Earth space. Turn back or be destroyed." Theros took the communicator. "We come in peace. We come with a message, a request." There was silence. Then the voice said, "Wait." 10 minutes passed. The stars around them seemed to hold their breath. Then a new voice spoke. This one was human. "You may land. Coordinates sent. Do not try anything foolish." The ship followed the instructions and landed on a large platform floating above Earth's surface. It was quiet, clean, military. A team of human soldiers stood waiting. They wore dark armor, faces hidden behind black helmets. None of them spoke. The aliens were led into an underground base deep below the planet's surface. At the end of a long hallway stood a woman in uniform, strong, calm. Her name was General May Carter. "You've come to break the ban," she said. Theros stepped forward. "We came to ask for help." General Carter didn't smile. "Help? After all these years?" Sorna spoke softly. "The galaxy is falling. The scourge, they're unstoppable." Carter looked at them with hard eyes. "And when humans were unstoppable, what did the galaxy do? It banned us, it feared us, it erased our records, made us ghosts." Theros lowered his head. "We were wrong. We know that now." Another human entered the room. A younger officer, holding a data pad. He whispered something to the general. She nodded slowly. "You're lucky," she said. "You asked before. It was too late. But you must understand, if we return completely. We will not be soft. We will not wait for permission. We will do what must be done. Are you ready for that?" The aliens looked at each other. Then Theros spoke. "Yes." General Carter turned and walked away. "Then follow me." She led them into a dark chamber. Inside, massive screens showed stars, maps, and enemy movements. Ships were already moving. Fleets of human warships had been hiding, waiting, preparing in silence, and now they were ready. "We never stopped training," Carter said. "We watched, we learned. While the council debated, we built weapons, quietly, secretly, because we knew this day would come." Sorna stepped forward. "Why did you wait?" "General," Carter turned to her. "Because we wanted the galaxy to understand something. You didn't ban us from war because we were evil. You banned us because we were effective. We ended wars quickly, brutally. You feared that. Theros asked. And now? She answered. Now. You fear the scourge more. Outside the base, deep in Earth's orbit, dozens of human ships powered on. Their engines glowed blue and white. Soldiers entered battle rooms. Drones woke up. Artificial minds calculated targets. One human captain aboard a stealth cruiser smiled and said, "It's about time." The council still didn't know. The humans were not waiting for permission anymore. They had been called. And that was enough. General Carter stood before the alien team one last time. "Go back," she said. "Tell your people help is coming, but make sure they understand. Humans do not return halfway. If we come back as war." As the alien ship left Earth, the stars behind it lit up with movement. Human ships moved like silent shadows, ready to strike. In the distance, the scourge attacked another colony. But this time, something was different. Something was watching. Something was coming. The galaxy had reached out in desperation, and Earth had answered. The first human fleet entered the war quietly. There were no news broadcasts, no announcements, just shadows in the stars, moving fast and hitting hard. The scourge didn't even see them coming. In a distant system called Garan 6, a scourge hive ship was attacking the last defense station. The alien soldiers inside had already said goodbye to their families. They were out of power, out of weapons, and out of hope. Then, the lights returned. The scourge ships, fast and deadly, stopped, firing. Something had jammed their systems, and then, like ghosts, 3 human stealth cruisers appeared. They didn't speak. They didn't warn. They just opened fire. Precision shots, no wasted energy. In 2 minutes, the entire scourge fleet in that sector was destroyed. Clean. Efficient. The survivors on the station watched with wide eyes. One whispered, "They came." The humans actually came. Across the galaxy, word began to spread. The humans were back. At first, many didn't believe it. The council denied everything. They said, "We have not lifted the ban. We have no agreement with Earth." But that didn't matter anymore, because human ships were already fighting. Not for the council, not for power, but for survival. General May Carter sat in the command chair of the Horizon, the lead ship of the First War Wing. Her eyes were cold, her voice calm. "Next target, Sector 9 Delta, full blackout, no survivors." Her officers nodded. They had waited years for this moment, not for revenge, not for pride, but because they knew the galaxy would one day need what only humans could do: total war. On planet Ceres, the Scourge had begun building a new hive, huge, dark structures that grew into the sky like twisted metal trees. Every life form on the planet had already been taken or killed. But the Scourge didn't expect a human drop team. 10 soldiers. That's all Earth sent. But those 10 were faster, smarter, and more dangerous than any army. They moved like wind, silent, focused. In less than 1 hour, the hive was gone, burned from the inside out. A single message was sent to the galaxy afterward. Mission complete. Earth is in. Now the council could no longer ignore it. The ban had failed. The galaxy's survival was more important. In an emergency session, the council finally said the words they swore never to say again. "We request full military assistance from Earth." Back on Earth, General Carter read the message. She didn't smile. She didn't cheer. She simply said, "About time." Earth didn't ask for anything in return. No money, no land, no power. They only wanted one thing: control over their own operations. No more debates, no more rules. The council agreed. The humans moved fast. In 1 week, they reclaimed 5 lost colonies. In 2 weeks, they destroyed 17 scourge fleets. Where other species had failed, humans succeeded. Why? Because they understood one truth that others forgot. War is not clean. War is not kind. War is only about winning. But the galaxy also saw something they didn't expect: mercy. On one ruined world, humans rescued over 1,000 alien children. Soldiers gave them food, warmth, and even laughter. One small girl, a furry Lunan species, asked her rescuer, "Why did you come?" The human soldier replied, "Because no one else could." That line spread across millions of datapads. Across every star system, it became the new symbol of hope. Because no one else could. Not everyone trusted the humans yet. Some leaders feared them. Some warned, when the scourge is gone, will Earth become the next danger? But others, like Captain Theros, defended them. They came when no one else would. That matters. The scourge started to change. They focused their attacks near human-controlled space. They feared humans. And they should. For the first time, the scourge ships retreated during a battle. Their minds, whatever they were, had learned the oldest truth in the stars. Do not anger Earth. But the war was not over. Not yet. Human scouts had found something terrifying. A signal deep in the void, older than any known technology. And it was calling to the scourge. General Carter stared at the signal. This isn't just a war. It's a test. Someone sent them. Or something. Her officer asked, "Should we stop?" She shook her head. "No, we go deeper." The humans were back. The galaxy was changing. And in the cold distance, the true enemy was waiting. The scourge were not running anymore. They were falling back, on purpose. Every move they made now had meaning. Every lost ship, every retreat, every destroyed planet. It was all part of something bigger. The humans knew it. General May Carter knew it. She stood in the war room, aboard the horizon, staring at the repeating signal her teams had found. A deep pulse hidden behind the chaos of scourge attacks. It wasn't random, it wasn't just noise, it was a code. "Where's it coming from?" she asked. Her lead analyst, a quiet man named Reyes, answered, "Outside the edge of the galaxy, beyond mapped space, somewhere no one has gone before." The Council was afraid to follow it. They begged Earth to stay defensive, to protect colonies, hold the line. But Earth didn't listen. Carter gave the order. "We're going in." 3 human fleets entered the void. No maps, no gates, just stars and darkness. The scourge didn't chase them. In fact, they seemed to vanish completely. No ships, no resistance. Until they found the station. It was ancient, floating near a dead star. Black metal, older than any design. No lights, no life. And yet, the signal came from inside. A team of human soldiers boarded the structure. Cameras fed their images to Carter's command room. They moved slowly, carefully, weapons ready. Inside, they found a chamber covered in carvings, symbols in no known language, and in the center, machines, huge machines, not made by the scourge, but clearly controlling them. "This isn't a hive," one soldier said. "It's a command center." Then the machines woke up. A voice filled the room, cold, inhuman, yet calm. "You are not supposed to be here. Return to your space." Carter responded through the comms. "Who are you?" "We are the architects. This test is not for you." "Test?" Carter asked. The voice continued. "The scourge is a purifier, a trial for developing minds. We judge which civilizations are strong and which are not." Carter frowned. "You sent them?" "Yes, long ago. The galaxy is our experiment. Those who survive, evolve. Those who fail, are erased. It is necessary. Order must come from fire." The room went silent. The truth hit everyone like a storm. The scourge was not a natural enemy. It was created, released, controlled, and it had a purpose. General Carter spoke calmly. "You tested us once before. We burned worlds, ended wars. You feared us then. That's why the ban happened, wasn't it?" The voice replied, "Yes, Humanity showed signs of danger. We encouraged your removal from war. We were wrong. You returned, and now you threaten the pattern. Reyes whispered to her. They didn't just test us. They tried to lock us out. Carter made her choice. We don't follow patterns. We break them. She gave the command. The soldiers planted charges around the machine core. The architect spoke again. If you destroy this system, the Scourge will lose control. They will become wild, unstoppable. You risk everything. Carter answered. We already risked everything. You turned our galaxy into a game. It ends now. The bombs exploded. The station vanished in fire. The signal stopped. Across the stars, Scourge ships halted, then went mad. Without commands, they turned wild. Some self-destructed. Others attacked each other. Many simply froze. The architects were gone, but now a new danger had begun. Earth's fleets rushed back to known space. The galaxy was in chaos. The Scourge, once organized and deadly, were now unpredictable and worse. They attacked at random, destroyed planets for no reason. They were no longer soldiers. They were beasts. The council called an emergency session. What have you done? They cried. You've made it worse. General Carter stood before them, calm as always. No, we set the galaxy free. This was never your war. It was never ours either. It was theirs. Now we fight for real, not to pass a test, but to survive. Some species still doubted. Others joined the humans. Together they built a new fleet. Not just Earth, not just one race, but many, side by side. Carter named the force the Free Armada. They didn't follow old council laws. They didn't argue. They acted, together. And now the final phase of the war was near. The Scourge had no leaders, but they still had power. They still had numbers. Carter gathered her commanders. She looked each one in the eye. We didn't start this, she said, but we're going to end it. For the planets we lost, for the ones we can still save, for the future of all species. She paused, then added, and if the architects are still watching, let them see what real unity looks like. The final battle was coming, and this time, humanity wasn't fighting alone. The galaxy had never seen a fleet like this. More than 400 ships, humans, Talari, Lunans, Gorans, even species that had once hated each other now stood side by side. They had no choice anymore. The Scourge was out of control, wild and hungry. With the architects gone, the monsters had no leaders, only instinct, and that made them more dangerous. General May Carter stood at the center of it all, aboard the horizon. She looked out at the endless space ahead. The final Scourge swarm was near the Orion expanse, heading toward the core worlds. If they reach those systems, she said, we lose everything. Her commanders were ready. The new Free Armada was not like the old Council fleets. These ships were faster, smarter, and they had trained together under human leadership. Carter raised her voice over the comms. This is for every world we lost, every child taken, every soldier who never came home. We fight not as humans or aliens, but as survivors. And now, as the ones who will end this war. The order was given. The fleet moved. The Scourge was waiting. When the two sides met, the stars lit up like fire. The Scourge came in waves. Thousands of ships, twisting living things with no pilots, only hunger. They fired beams that melted steel. They tore through defenses. But this time, the Armada didn't run. Human ships punched through the swarm with precise, deadly strikes. Talari cruisers formed shield walls. Goran hammer ships slammed into enemy formations. Lunan drones flew in tight circles, cutting off reinforcements. It wasn't just a battle, it was a storm. One by one, the Scourge began to fall, but not without cost. The Eclipse, a large Goran vessel, was lost protecting a convoy. Hundreds died. Carter's face stayed cold, but her fists were tight. Push. Forward, she ordered. After 5 hours, the swarm began to split. The Scourge didn't retreat. They couldn't. They were wild now. They attacked everything in sight, even each other. And then, something strange happened. The core of the swarm opened. A giant structure moved out from the center, a black orb the size of a moon. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't alive. It was something left behind by the architects. A final weapon. "What is that?" whispered Reyes, her analyst. The orb pulsed with red light, and then it began draining energy from both sides. Scourge ships fell from the sky. Armada vessels lost power. Lights flickered. Shields collapsed. "It's feeding," Carter said. "Taking everything." She made a quick choice. "All teams, focus on the orb. We take it down or we all die." The Armada regrouped. Ships surrounded the orb, firing with everything they had. Missiles, beams, plasma, but nothing worked. The orb absorbed it all. Then came the plan. "Board it," Carter said. A small team of humans and aliens volunteered. Elite soldiers, veterans. They flew in using stealth pods, landing on the orb's surface. They found a way in. Inside, it was dark, cold, silent. Machines waited in silence, like the ones from the architect's station. But there were no voices, this time. No warnings. Only a single control core glowing with red light. The team planted bombs. As they prepared to leave, one soldier stayed behind. Captain Erin, a Lunan warrior who had once feared humans, now fought beside them. She smiled as she armed the last charge. "Tell Carter," she said through the comm, "this war ends today." The orb exploded. Across space, Scourge ships began to fall. Their minds were broken, their strength gone. The final battle lasted another hour, but the Armada was winning. And then, silence. No more enemies, only stars. General Carter stood on the bridge. She didn't cheer. She didn't cry. She just let out a long breath. It's over. The galaxy was quiet. The war had ended. Later, the Council tried to return to power, but things had changed. The old ways were gone. The people didn't want politicians. They wanted protectors, leaders who acted, not talked. And they remembered who saved them. Earth was no longer feared. It was respected. The Free Armada became a permanent force. Humans led, but they didn't lead alone. Every species had a voice, every planet had a place. General May Carter stepped down from command a year later. She didn't need a statue. She didn't want a throne. She just wanted peace. In her final speech, she said, "We were banned once, feared for what we could do. But in the end, we did what had to be done. That's not something to fear, that's something to remember." The galaxy did remember. The day humans were banned from war had passed. And now, every species knew the truth. The worst mistake they ever made was thinking Earth would stay silent forever. And the best decision they ever made was asking them to return.